The Whispering Forest. Once upon a time, in a lush, verdant realm known as Eldoria, there reigned a beloved queen named Alara, and her consort, the wise and gentle Emra. They ruled over the kingdom with compassion and courage, bringing joy to their people, and ensuring peace flourished throughout the land. Yet, as the seasons changed and the years turned, the arrival of a special birth would change their happiness forever. On a blustery winter's eve, amidst the flickering candlelight of the royal palace in Glimmerstone, the joyous wails of a newborn pierced the air. The birth of their princess, Livia, was celebrated with great revelry. She was as radiant as the stars that twinkled above the forested mountains. With her deep emerald eyes and cascading auburn curls, she brought warmth to even the coldest winter nights. As she grew, Livia inherited her mother's spirited nature, and her other mother's unwavering curiosity. Bound within the castle walls, she grew restless, yearning to explore the wild beauty of Eldoria. The distant sounds of laughter and stories from the village called to her, an irresistible temptation. Her secret escape was often to a quaint tavern named the Willow's End, where she donned the guise of a humble wanderer. There she would listen to bards play enchanting melodies, and share tales from lands far beyond her kingdom. Only a handful knew her true identity: the tavern keeper, a kind-hearted woman named Mara, the cook with a hearty laugh named Rowan, and Dara, the cook's daughter, who assisted her mother and quickly became Livia's closest confidant. Dara, a spirited girl with striking features and a heart full of dreams, had been Livia's ally in mischief since childhood. Their bond deepened with every shared glance and whispered secret, but even the friendship was met with scrutiny from Queen Alara and Emra, who deemed their closeness inappropriate. As the chill of winter melted into the bloom of spring, Livia entered her 15th year. Her parents deemed it time for her to embrace her royal duties, to behave as a proper lady, stifling the adventurous flame inside of her. One dreary afternoon, Alara called for Livia to discuss her future. "Come here, my dear," Alara said, looking up from a parchment filled with regal duties. Livia hesitated before taking a seat, her heart racing. "Livia, you are growing into a remarkable young woman. However, there are expectations that accompany your title." Her mother's gaze was earnest but firm. "Must we speak of this, mother?" Livia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It is time to leave the games of childhood behind. Your activities in the village, speaking with commoners, and this," she hesitated, painfully searching for words, "this friendship with Dara, must come to an end." Livia felt a storm brewing in her chest. "But I love those times. Dara understands me in ways that I cannot express to anyone else. You can't take that away. Dara is not your equal, Livia. She is a peasant," Emra emphasized gently yet with conviction. "We must begin to seek a suitable match for you." "Match? To whom?" "A stranger," Livia exclaimed, her voice rising. "I refuse to accept this arrangement without even knowing the man." "That's enough, Livia," Alara said sternly. "You bring honor to our name, but that also means sacrifice." Feeling unheard, Livia fled the library with tears streaming down her face. She dashed towards the tavern, desperate for Dara's comfort and advice. She needed guidance more than ever. When she burst through the doors of the Willow's End, the warm glow of lanterns wrapped around her like a mother's embrace. Dara was there, wiping her hands on her apron, a soft smile blooming as she rushed forward. "Livia, what is it?" Dara asked, concern etched on her brow. "They want to marry me off. They think I'm ready to be some noble's prize," Livia cried, collapsing into Dara's embrace. "I don't want that. I can't lose you. I can't lose my freedom." Dara's strong arms wrapped around her, grounding her. "You won't lose me, I promise. But what can we do? I want to escape. I want to see the world beyond the castle," Livia exclaimed, her heart racing with the thrill of rebellion. "Come with me." "Leave? But Livia, that's dangerous. You've never been far from home. Plus, after what happened to travelers earlier this year," Dara hesitated, concern etching deeper lines into her features. "Please, Dara. I couldn't bear to stay and live a life decided by others. I want to breathe free air, feel the grass beneath my feet, see the whispering forest and all its mysteries. You by my side would make it all worthwhile. Dara searched Livia's emerald gaze and saw the fierce determination sparkling within. You're set on this then? More than anything, Livia whispered, taking a step closer, her heart racing. Will you come? Dara took a breath, letting the weight of the choice settle in her heart. I will if you're sure this is what you want. Livia stepped forward, brushing her lips against Dara's in a tentative yet passionate kiss, sealing their pact. In this moment, everything melted away but the two of them. The weight of the world faded, replaced by a spark of something beautifully defiant. When their lips parted, Livia met Dara's gaze, the certainty undeniable. Thank you. Then let's prepare. We'll leave at twilight tomorrow, before the guards start their rounds, Dara said, determination crafting her features into a fierce resolve. Together we'll venture into the unknown, Livia grinned, a plan forming. Their hearts danced with anticipation and fear, feminist spirits entwined in the promise of adventure. The two girls were poised on the cusp of a journey that would change their lives forever, leaving the expectations of royalty behind for the untamed embrace of Eldoria, and the secrets whispered within the forest. Together they would carve their own destinies, their own love story, daring to outrun the shadows that lingered in the castle walls. Chapter 2, Into the Whispering Forest. The sun dipped low on the horizon, a fiery orb casting drapes of crimson and gold across the sky as Livia and Dara prepared to leave Glimmerstone. Their hearts raced not just with fear, but with an exhilarating anticipation that overshadowed their trepidation. With a few carefully chosen belongings tucked away in a simple satchel, the two young women stood at the edge of the forest, shrouded in twilight and the promise of freedom. Are you ready? Dara asked, glancing back at the castle, whose imposing silhouette loomed in the distance. Livia took a deep breath, her heart swelling with a mix of excitement and longing. More than anything, this castle has never felt like home to me. I'm ready to embrace whatever the world has in store. Dara smiled softly, allowing the warmth of Livia's words to wash over her. Together then, she whispered, reaching for Livia's hand, intertwining their fingers as they stepped into the whispering forest. The world transformed as they entered the woodlands. Moonlight dripped through the thick canopy, creating a tapestry of silvery light that danced across the forest floor. The gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl serenaded them, easing some of the tension they felt. They walked closely, their shoulders brushing, their spirits buoyed by the wonder of the journey ahead. As night deepened, they navigated the winding paths, Livia's heart thrumming with the thrill of adventure while Dara remained watchful, ensuring every noise was nothing more than the forest song. The trees, ancient and wise, whispered secrets that felt tantalizingly close yet utterly out of reach. I can't believe we're actually doing this, Dara mused aloud as they paused at a small clearing, brightened by clusters of bioluminescent flowers stretching toward the moon. It's incredible. It is, Livia agreed, her gaze glimmering in the soft light. Just think of everything we're leaving behind. All the expectations, the pressure, it's liberating. Imagine where we'll go. I've heard tales of the Valley of Larkspur, with its singing waterfalls, and the cliffs of Eldora where the stars seem to tumble from the sky. Dara's imagination ignited, her blue eyes bright with wanderlust. They sound beautiful, Livia replied, her heart racing at the thought. But Dar, what about us? We're young and naive. What if we get lost? Dara squeezed Livia's hand reassuringly. Together we can face anything. We are more than capable. Plus, the tales of your courageous heart inspire me every day, Livia. You are fearless. They settled for the night by the roots of an ancient tree, its gnarled trunk offering shelter. As they nestled close for warmth, their hearts beat in sync, and the forest wrapped around them like a thick quilt. Amid the magic of the night, softness enveloped Livia's thoughts. She peered toward Dara, who had fallen into a peaceful slumber. With a heart full of admiration, she brushed a few stray hairs away from Dara's face and leaned in, considering the beauty of the girl by her side. Livia's thoughts wandered, tracing the moments that had led them here, the innocent joy they had shared, the secret whispered dreams, and the way Dara always seemed to understand her, a bond that transcended friendship. In that moment, she felt an undeniable pull, and taking a leap of courage, she pressed a soft kiss upon Dara's forehead, feeling a spark ignite in the stillness of night. They awoke at dawn to golden rays filtering through the leaves, illuminating the forest in a warm, inviting hue. Livia opened her eyes to find Dara watching her, a soft smile gracing her lips. "What was that for?" Dara blushed, a teasing lilt to her voice. "Just gratitude," Livia replied earnestly, her heart hammering. "For being with me. You're the bravest person I know." "Then let's ensure we continue to be brave together," Dara said, a determined gleam in her eyes. "Who knows what awaits us?" They packed their meager belongings and ventured deeper into the forest. Excitement coursed through Livia as they journeyed through sun-drenched glades and shaded thickets, the flora alive with color and sound. Every so often, they would stumble upon a curious sight, a shimmering stream, clusters of wild flowers, or the intricate homes of woodland creatures. Their laughter echoed through the trees as it mingled with the song of the forest. But as afternoon slipped into evening, the atmosphere shifted abruptly. A hush fell over the woods, the vibrant chatter fading into unsettling silence. "Do you feel that?" Dara whispered, her brows furrowed as she looked around. Before Livia could respond, shadows emerged from the tree-line. Tall figures cloaked in dark robes descended upon them, their faces obscured. The girls instinctively drew closer together, hands tightly clasped. "Who dares to traverse the whispering forest?" boomed a voice that sent chills racing through Livia's spine. We are simply travelers," Livia stammered, her pulse quickening. "We mean no harm." "The forest is no place for the likes of you," another figure hissed, stepping closer, revealing sharp features illuminated by the fading light. In that moment, Livia felt a mix of fear and courage rise within her. She squeezed Dara's hand tightly, receiving strength from their bond. "We seek freedom," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "We're not afraid of you." A low chuckle erupted from one of the figures, and the others shared menacing glances. "Freedom is a delicate dream, little princess. You tread upon paths that could lead you to ruin. Stay back," Dara cried, pulling Livia closer as shadows flickered, revealing the figure's glinting eyes. "We'll not be cowed by threats." "Cowardice does not suit the brave," the lead figure sneered, stepping forward menacingly. "But your hearts are pure. Perhaps you will serve our purpose." Livia's heart sank, panic surging. "What do you mean?" "We can offer you power, if you pledge your allegiance to us," he whispered dangerously. Livia turned to Dara, fear etched across her face. This was not the dream of freedom they had chased, this was a nightmare threatening to sink its claws into them. "Whatever it is, we refuse," Dara shouted defiantly. "We are free to choose our own fate." "Fate," the cloaked figure said with a twisted smile. "You're foolish to believe you can choose your destiny in these woods. You'll regret your defiance." The tension thickened as the forest seemed to hold its breath. Livia's heart raced as she faced the figures, realizing that their journey was becoming far more challenging than either had anticipated, but she would not back down, not with Dara by her side. With every ounce of bravery, she raised her chin. "We will find our way. You can't dictate our lives. We choose our path." The shadowed figures let out unsettling laughter, echoing through the trees. But Livia stood strong, resolute. The world was vast and full of promise, and she wouldn't let fear dictate her choices. "Come, Dara. We'll find another path," Livia urged, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her heart. As they turned to navigate around their captors, shadows fell away, whispers trailing behind them like angry gusts of wind. They moved swiftly, adrenaline surging, hearts pounding in harmony. They crossed deeper into the woods, away from the lurking threats. With each step, Livia and Dara's bond only grew stronger, undeterred by the obstacles that awaited them in their quest for freedom. The whispering trees rustled encouragement, urging them on as the sun dipped below the horizon, marking the end of one day and the beginning of another. Together they would carve their own story, unfurling chapters filled with courage, adventure, and perhaps, a love that would transcend the bounds of fate. With every heartbeat, they forged ahead, determined not only to escape danger but to embrace the untamed wild, their spirits linked in an unbreakable union of defiance and dream. Chapter 3: The Heart of the Forest. As twilight fell, casting an ethereal glow upon the whispering forest, Livia and Dara forged ahead, propelled by a mix of fervor and desperation. The shadows cast by the encroaching night felt heavier, but they refused to let fear govern their hearts. Instead, they pushed through the underbrush, determined to escape the cloaked figures and find safety. "We need to find a place to rest," Dara said, her breath coming in quickened bursts. "Somewhere hidden, away from them." Just ahead, a thicket of ancient trees parted to reveal a serene glade, bathed in moonlight and illuminated by the glow of phosphorescent plants. The inviting sight beckoned to them, and without hesitation, they slipped into the safety of the glade. Livia fell to her knees, allowing the calm serenity to wash over her. "We made it, for now." Dara dropped beside her, weary but resolute. "What do we do now, Livia? They'll be looking for us." Taking a deep breath, Livia looked around the magical glade. "We need to find a way to fend them off, or we'll never be safe." Dara nodded, a spark igniting in her eyes. "Perhaps we should seek the help of the forest spirits. My mother spoke of them, guardians who dwell in places like this. They could offer protection." With newfound determination, Livia and Dara began to chant the ancient words of summoning that had been passed down through generations. As they spoke, the air around them shimmered, and the ground thrummed beneath their fingers. Soft lights materialized, swirling around them like fireflies, coaxing the forest into response. A soft, melodic voice filled the glade. "Why do you summon us, young ones?" From the ethereal lights emerged a figure, a woman with flowing hair that shimmered like starlight, and eyes that twinkled with wisdom. "I am Isolde, guardian of the whispering forest. You tread upon sacred ground. What do you seek?" "We wish to be free," Livia implored, her heart laid bare. "We seek to escape those who would control our lives. We want to carve our own destinies." Dara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We're prepared to fight for our freedom. We refuse to be pawns in games we've never wished to play." Isolde regarded them with a discerning gaze. "Bravery burns bright in your hearts. Yet freedom comes at a cost. You must choose, will you face your foes and claim your destiny, or will you retreat into a life of safety, swayed by fear?" Livia glanced at Dara, their hands instinctively finding each other once more. With sheer resolve, Livia declared, "We choose to face them and fight for our right to be free. Together." Isolde smiled, the gentle light around her brightening. "So be it. You possess the strength of spirit and love for one another, this will be your greatest weapon. The forest shall protect you, you will find the strength you seek within." Suddenly, the glade shimmered and shifted as the spirits of the forest swirled around Livia and Dara, wrapping them in flickering lights of silver and green. They felt an infusion of energy coursing through them, connecting them to the very essence of the whispering forest. With gratitude pouring from their souls, they watched as Isolde and the spirits began to weave shimmering threads of protection around the clearing. The bonds of magic armed them with the confidence they needed. When dawn broke, Livia and Dara emerged from the glade, fortified and determined. They set forth towards where they believed the cloaked figures must be, hearts racing with both fear and anticipation. The world alive around them, birds sang cheerfully as the forest awakened, creating a stark contrast to the darkness they had faced. As they neared the edge of the forest, the air thickened with tension. The shadows loomed as they approached the clearing where the cloaked figures had gathered, their ominous presence casting a pall over the morning light. In the open space, the dark figures loomed like thunderclouds, angry, foreboding. Livia stepped forward, Dara at her side, holding on to each other with unwavering conviction. "This ends now," Livia cried, her voice steady and strong, radiating the energy that pulsed within her veins from the forest's magic. "We will not yield to your threats or your will." The lead figure, eyes glowing with unholy light, glared at them. So you have summoned the forest spirits. Foolish girl. You think your love can guard you from the depths of darkness. Livia stood resolute. It is not just love but determination and unity. We face you without fear. With a wave of her hand, Dara steeled herself, empowered by the spirit's gift. We know that the whispers of the woods are stronger than your whispers of fear. In response, the cloaked figures advanced, shadows swirling like a storm. But Livia and Dara, enveloped in the protective light of the spirits, stood firm. A wave of energy, a formidable shield, radiated from them, causing the dark figures to falter and recoil. The forest responded to their bravery. Vines unfurled wildly, wrapping around the menacing figures, pulling them back into the ground from whence they came. The air crackled with power, filled with the sounds of nature aiding them, a cacophony of rustling leaves, the roar of wind, and the cries of animals. Together. Livia shouted, gripping Dara's hand tighter, as they focused on their shared resolve. We are not alone. With united strength, they called upon the spirits again, their voices weaving together in a symphony of defiance. Power surged as the glade erupted into brilliant light, forcing the cloaked figures to disintegrate into nothingness. The air shimmered, and with the last of the shadows banished, light flooded their surroundings. The forest seemed to vibrate with the victory of the girls, celebrating the reclaiming of their freedom. Livia and Dara stood amidst the tranquility, gasping with disbelief and exhilaration. The haunting darkness had been defeated, their bond stronger than any obstacle set before them. Tears of joy glimmered in Dara's eyes. We did it. We're free. Livia turned to face Dara, their eyes locking, the shared love and understanding evident. We made this choice together. We control our destiny. With the whispers of the trees honoring their victory, Livia disconnected the chains of her past, and stepped forward into the promise of a new beginning. The world awaits us, Dar, she said, her voice a tender whisper, filled with possibility. With hearts linked hand in hand, they walked back into the embrace of the forest, toward their future, the beauty of a life they had chosen freely and bravely, with courage igniting each step. It was here, among the whispering trees and the songs of the breeze, that they pledged to continue their adventures together, exploring the realms beyond, welcoming whatever tales awaited them on the horizon. The forest, now a guardian of their love and bravery, whispered its promise, they would never again walk alone. And as dawn broke over Eldoria, the adventure was only just beginning.